Hi everyone, I'm Sal, co-creator of Salt and Pepper Productions,
And I'm Pep, co-creator of Salt and Pepper Productions.
and we're back with another The Promised Neverland video. Today we're going to discuss Season 2, Episode 4 of the Promised Neverland anime, and a lot of big stuff happened in this episode. We learned some important stuff about William Minerva, and we got to see Isabella again. First time seeing her this season, and yeah, a lot of stuff happened. So, Pep, what were your overall thoughts on the episode?
Well, this episode, also called Pep is Wrong About Everything Again, um, I really liked this episode for a little bit. It was really sweet and it was really cute. It was like a little montage of them living together. And then guys with guns came.
Yeah.
Basically. And then I was like, at first I was like, when the first explosion went off, I'm like, oh no, they were found. Then when I saw the people, the humans, I was like, maybe this is a good thing. You know, maybe they are like coming to rescue the kids, and they just couldn't find the key to open the thing, and it's going to be a double twist because the kids are going to attack them and beat them, and then find out that they were there to help them. But no, that didn't happen. Um, yeah, it turns out they use that humans are actually like working with the demons. They're not like fully separated societies. There is integration between the two of them. So I'm completely wrong.
Well, presumably those male humans we saw were from the farm. Like maybe they were high score males that were kept alive, which if
That's
Norman
even worse
is
for Norman.
alive, then there's a
Norman's
potential
gonna
way to
become a
keep
super
him
soldier.
alive. Basically forced to work for the demons.
Ever hopeful. Ever hopeful. No,
So that
my
basically,
interpretation was that these were like I don't actually, you know what, my idea doesn't make as much sense in retrospect. I was thinking that these are like a group of mercenaries from like the human side who just worked for the demons because, you know, they paid them well or something.
mm,
But that could also be true because they do have like because we were wondering where they got their uh male side of the reproductive cycle from.
yeah,
And you know, I guess that's a useful use them as defense.
right. But
Well,
then
that would
that
be
kind of
really
makes you wonder why didn't they appear in the um season 1 finale when the kids were escaping and they thought, "Oh, they're going to come to the bridge. We better focus on the bridge. Keep an eye out for them." Like we saw demons with weapons then, but we didn't
yeah,
I think maybe there were a couple humans there, but I thought they were female humans that were there. I don't know.
maybe.
Maybe they only use the human soldiers as a last resort.
Maybe, or maybe it could be a different type. Like they make better shock troops than the demons, so that you know they put them in to like go. Also, the bunker's probably really small for demons. Like demons seem to be pretty large, so they'd probably have a hard time getting in there. So they probably use the humans as like tunnel rats.
That's true. And
Yeah.
last episode we were talking about, well, you thought that since Sonju killed those demon pursuers, that maybe when the demon pursuers don't come back to the farm, maybe the farm would send more reinforcements out to go looking for them. And
Mhm.
I think this episode confirmed your theory because they're probably the ones who found the message on the tree trunk and used that to locate the kids.
Well, based on, in my opinion, based on like the demon, like the head demon, I'm gonna call him the creme de la demon or whatever you want to say. He said to what was her name? Mother. What was her name again?
Isabella.
Isabella. He said to her that like the way or what he said to her, it sounded like they just knew about the bunker ahead of time. That like it wasn't as secure a location as the kids thought it was, and so they were like, "Oh, they must have gone to the bunker." Also, what William Minerva said, and what and the Help makes me think that the Help was written by Minerva because they found the bunker before and just um killed him there, and then left the bunker in case anyone ever escapes and tries to run there.
I actually have a different opinion about what the help might be, but let's talk about the phone call and the message on the wall, because that was something that happened right at the start of this episode. So,
Let's actually be organized for once instead of wild ranting.
so at the start of the episode, we see Emma answer the phone, which is how the previous episode ended, and we learn that it's a pre-recorded message, and we learn that the person talking on the other end of the phone, William Minerva, is not his real name. His real name is James, and he reveals that he used to work at the farm, and I think it's highly likely that he's the man Sister Crone saw back in season 1. I think he's the man that we saw drop the pen and then leave during Sister Crone's flashback. And he revealed that he used to work at the farm and felt guilty about contributing to the death of all these children. So he decided to create a shelter for them. And he's the one who supplied all the books with the secret messages and also the pen. But he got found out at one point, which is why he created that recorded message in case any children came to the bunker. He would leave that there for them, and he basically told them, you can stay in the shelter, or you can use the pen to find the human world, type the word future into the pen's keypad, and a map will appear to show you where you need to go to find the human world. And as for the help message on the wall, like, I think it's likely that Emma and her group, they're not the first people to arrive at the shelter. I'm thinking that a group of kids were here before, because we saw several different names scrawled on the wall, and Anna, while investigating that room, found a little book, and written in the book was something along the lines of, I'm all alone now, everybody's gone, I can't take this anymore, I'm going to go look for the human world. If anybody is reading this, don't give up. So that tells me that something happened there, and everybody except one person disappeared from that group who was at the shelter first, and that person decided to leave the shelter after going crazy. Like, maybe he's the one who scrawled all the helps on that wall because he or she was just going insane from being alone. So that's my thoughts on that room.
I don't think that rules out the idea that this is a known shelter, because they were very quick to like arrive at that shelter.
I mean, well, so the kids arrived at the shelter January 20th, and the last scheduled check-in they listened to before the shelter got ambushed was February 26th. So they've been there for a month. Like, they've escaped over a month ago. So it did take time for...
Yeah, but it could also have taken them time because they were wondering where, because they did have the other party, and then that party could have been headed towards the original party that was killed by Shinji. They could have been headed towards the bunker, and then when they didn't report in, they did an investigation of that, found the markings, found the party dead, and then sent the shock troops.
True.
Because there was that whole thing that could have happened in between that slowed them down in a response.
That's true. So, but what I think happened, I think basically what happened is they found the message and realized, oh, so that's where the children are, and that's what the demons and grandmother meant when they were saying, we're going to get those children soon, you'll be able to see them again soon, they're going to be shipped out soon. It's because they found that message and now they know where they are, so now they can send reinforcements there to go to collect the children. That's my
That could
thoughts
be
on
it.
it.
Yeah, I don't know if it could also be that when Ray scratched the stuff into the thing, they found that and then were me like, oh, it's coordinates, and then went to where the coordinates were and then found the bunker.
Right.
But not intending to find the bunker, not knowing it was a bunker originally, but then like, oh, figure out it was a bunker, and then all the other things, or watching the kids. They could have been watching the kids when they went outside originally, and then attacked at night when they thought they'd be asleep.
I guess it's possible.
No. They look to be a very like tactic. They seem to be well trained, so I can imagine that they would have like a multitude of different tactics, and they wouldn't immediately try and round up like the 4 kids outside at first sight and just follow them back to wherever they've been camping. And then they found the bunker. They're like, okay, we'll wait till they're asleep, because when they're asleep, it's easier to find. It's easier to like collect a bunch of people when they're asleep.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. So maybe they found the message and the children that day and decided, okay, we'll go back later tonight.
Well, what I think, the other thing I think is that the help makes me think that whatever happened was probably something similar to this, where the kids hid there, they stayed there for a while, and then one night the kid catcher Peter Pan party came in and took them back to be eaten or killed them. Well, it looks like they were taking them captive to bring back.
Maybe.
That's probably what happened.
I mean,
Yeah.
when the children were escaping, one of the soldiers or whatever even said that's how shelters usually are. That's how they usually have 2 entrances. So was he just generalizing, or have they come across shelters like this before?
I can't imagine in 1,000 years this has been going on. This is the first time, especially when they have so many like prepared options.
Right, but again, like if they probably didn't know about this specific shelter though, because I feel like they would have gotten the children much sooner, because the children were at the shelter for over a month. Like, they arrived on January 20th, and then the attack took place on February 26th.
Yeah, the only thing I have to say about that is I feel like they wouldn't have immediately sent the party to the shelter, because they probably would have been waiting for the initial demon party to find them and like intercept them before they ended up at the shelter. And then when the demon party then never returned and never like reported back, they probably sent another party out to check on that party, and it probably took them a while to find that. And then well, actually, I don't know if that would equal a month's time. So you might be right. But then again, I don't know. It seemed like they knew they were specifically aiming for a tunnel operation, because I don't know why they would have sent humans particularly instead of demons, unless they knew that this was an operation that needed humans. Which could also mean that like they knew about the shelter ahead of time, but they didn't have the human party on hand.
Or like, again, like maybe they've dealt with shelters before, but they needed the exact location. They needed the exact location in order to find them. Hence why Ray's message was probably beneficial to them.
Yeah, probably.
Darn it, Ray.
Yeah, Ray, you gone and goofed. Ray, you're supposed to be smart. Why would you do this? You should have put the wrong address in. You should have just said go, or like be safe, or forget about me. Something like that. Right. Or put the wrong address. Put it on the exact other side of the world, and then they've been like, where are they going? Why are they going so far? But you gave them the exact address they were looking for. Ray, you done goofed. Nah. I still think it's interesting that there's like a human team working so closely with the demons, which makes me think that like if the kids that there was like I still think that team looked like they were probably not from the farm originally, that they were like from the human world originally. Then again, we couldn't see their necks, so we can't tell if they were like encoded originally.
Hmm.
I have a suspicion that they're from the human world, either as mercenaries or like some cross training team with the demon world
I
from
think
some human government.
I think they're definitely working for the demons. Like, I don't think they're from the human world because, like, when Emma said, we just wanted freedom, basically, the guy said, you guys never had that, or, like, so they're basically definitely in the know with how the farms
Yeah,
work, and
I'm assuming the humans in the human world know about the demons in the demon world and the whole pact. That it's like a part of history. Like maybe they're not entirely sure about all the intimate details of the demon world, but they probably like it's probably more well known than the kids who grew up on the farm would have known about it.
hmm,
Because the free demons that we've talked to, particularly Shinji, knew about the human world. So I think the humans from the human world would know about the human world,
true. Like, would they know
unless it's. Oh, go
the
ahead.
specifics about how the farm works, though? Like,
Maybe
how they're
not, but then
run?
again, probably not. It's probably not something that a lot of people know about or want to know about. They probably just view it as like, or maybe they do. Maybe there's some because again, a lot of the supplies that the demons get for the kids come from the human world. So I'm imagining that some humans in the human world know some details about human farming, particularly like William Minerva. What was his name? Jesse?
James.
James. It's close. um, like James, he I can't imagine he was born in the demon world. I'm imagining he was born in the human world.
I mean,
And that he
I
worked.
that's true. Like, because he would have had to have the freedom to go outside in order to create the
Yeah,
shelter. So,
and like enough money to like have put the shelter in and like have snuck it in. That's my other thing. How did he get over to the demon side with like construction equipment and shipping equipment to like set this thing up? How long did this take, and how did he do it? And it
well,
not getting noticed.
we know that one of the books that had one of the owl book plates in it was published in 2015. So Emma even said that like that's the latest or that's the earliest it could have been. Like they started receiving these books at least in
In
around
2015.
2015.
And they received the pen in like
Sister Crone's
pro
time.
so Sister Crone's time. Well,
She's
so probably in the last
26.
10.
Like
Yeah,
Sister Crone said
probably
she
in the
was
last 10 years.
26.
Yeah, probably in the last 10 years. It looks more like maybe in like the last sorry, last 7 8 years probably would be sometime because I'm imagining she was like a teenager when she received the pen.
She looked to be about the age she was when she arrived at Plant 3.
Okay, then maybe a year or two at most. Because like, so that means that there's probably maybe he's dropped multiple pens. Like I can imagine he's probably dropped more than one.
Yeah, that would make sense because
And it's
again,
probably
there was a good chance that other kids lived at the shelter at one point, hence the names on the wall and the notebook.
I wonder if there's other shelters too. Because we said that like them having a shelter specific team kind of depends on how many shelters there are, right? Because if there's like other shelters, then it wouldn't. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, like we were talking about how maybe they've dealt with shelters before, but they don't know the exact location.
yeah. So like, it makes me wonder, is like William Minerva, how rich is William Minerva? Has he put up like 10 or 12 different of these shelters that would probably have cost him a fortune? Who are these people and how do they have this like, I can't imagine William Minerva did this on his own. That like Jesse or James or whatever his face is did this
James.
all on James did this all on his own. I can't imagine he was rich enough to like rich enough and had enough connections to make this go off with as few hitches as it did on his own. Like, I have to imagine there's something larger happening besides him. And I can't imagine they're paid like, enough money where building a shelter in like Demon Land is cheap.
Like,
And then stocking it with food and resources and a like dial-up telephone.
like maybe later on the children will learn more about William Minerva James and find out if there were other people working with him, or maybe it's one of those things where it's like, just don't think about it too much.
See, though, this show had like the major twist of, yes, you should think about the small things, 'cause the small details play off and like become important later on. So I would be really disappointed if they did don't think about it too much
That's
now,
true.
because like there were like small hints about like the fact that other kids were learning, were listening and stuff like that. You just had to pay attention for them and look for them. So now that has turned me into a conspiracy theorist who's like, okay, this is connected here and this is connected there and there and there, and that, but insert like that meme of the guy like, this is how it all works sort of thing. But like, I would be really disappointed if like the ending and if that ended up being like a giant plot hole that like Minerva couldn't pay for this on his own. It could be that they don't mention it and it's like not important to like these kids right now, because after this, William Minerva has basically filled his role.
Right, like maybe it's not too important. Maybe it's not important enough for the children to know or for us to know at this point. But I get what you're saying. Like,
Yeah, it'd be sad. Show predicated on watching all the details. Ignore this detail, though. No, I need answers. It'll be really interesting, though, to see what happens with that.
yeah,
Also, I think we're going to see Shinji again.
yeah. I think we're gonna see Sonju and Yujika
I've
again.
been saying it wrong the whole time, haven't I? I've been saying Shinji. It's Sanju.
But yeah, because the episode ends with the children escaping from the shelter, getting away from those reinforcements. So they're probably going to run into Sonju and Mujika again, which is going to be interesting because I'm sure Sonju will act normal and act like everything's normal, but since Mujika now knows what Sonju's true intentions are, she now knows that Sonju wants to hunt and eat the children's future descendants at some point. So,
Yeah.
how will
Which
she
also,
react to the children coming back to her and Sonju? How will she react to watching Sonju interact with the kids? Will it make her feel uncomfortable, or will she feel like she needs to talk to the children or warn them?
I feel like the initial thing is that they're going to. 'Cause I think now their goal is to like get over to the human world, like, because their shelter's been destroyed and they're just not safe here.
But they also want to try to get the others back at some point too.
Yeah. But I mean, in general, I think, yeah, that's true. I don't know. I don't know how Sanju is going. Sanju is probably going to be okay with the get the others, because that means there's more people released into the wild, which means hopefully there's more children made in the future, so that he has more to hunt.
Right.
But I would say that his initial the initial like them wanting to go to the human world, he's gonna try and discourage them from that, or like keep them from being able to, because if they go over to the human world, he can't hunt them anymore, because now they're just like they're protected on like their however like this world is actually divided, they're protected.
Right.
I have this image of like the border just being a row of trees for some reason, or like bushes, a la like Over the Hedge. Do you know that movie?
I've
Yeah,
never seen
a
it,
la
but
Over
I've
the
heard of
Hedge.
it.
Okay. So that's just my picture of what the border between them is. Like, it's not like actually anything impenetrable. They just all respect each other, and just on the other side is just completely different ecology. Because I'm thinking of like it's more mythical. Like the demon world is kind of in like a different mythical world than the humans normally live in. So I wonder how they're gonna pass. Also, I wonder if like he's probably gonna like say that, oh, you can never you can't really pass. You have to go to this specific place or stuff like that. And I just thought of something.
Yeah.
Minerva says, go to this location. There are people there who will help you, which implies that there are other people trying to save kids, who want to save kids.
Which supports the idea that he
has benefactors.
Right.
You got rich benefactors, too. Bill Gates is trying to save the children. Or Warren Buffett, or, someone.
So, yeah, or... like, either that, or he was just saying, in general, there are people in the human world who can help you.
Yeah, who congregate at a particular location. Or, you just cross the side, and then there's going to be... everyone's going to be like, look, domesticated humans. Children, save them! I can imagine that, like, if a bunch of children just ran across a border with a land that is, like, filled with creatures that just eat humans naturally, I feel like a lot of people's natural instinct would be to protect them. But I also think that I feel like the whole, I feel like there is, because the whole, like, deal between humans and demons is predicated on demons having this small population of humans to hunt. I feel like if they got across, that might technically break their agreement. I still think that might be true. So I feel like if they do end up in the human world, there's either going to be a prejudice against them, or there's going to be like a political movement of people trying to get them sent back in order to prevent some sort of war or outbreak between the two species.
Potentially.
Yeah, I don't know. I this world seems dark and bleak in a lot of ways, and and every time there's like a ray of hope, I'm like, okay, but what is the shadow looking like? What's that shadow look like? What's going to go wrong here?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I kind of was right that they were going to get like attacked at like the point they ended up at back when like season 2. Did I talk about this in season 2 or like? Or not season 2, episode 1 or episode 2? I think I talked about how like when they end up at that location, someone's going to find them and like attack them. Technically, I was right. It's right about one thing. Everything else is just like wild speculation. Thrown out in the next episode. So I'm going to try not to make speculations. They won't even meet Sanju. Why do I keep forgetting his name? They'll probably actually. I really wonder how he's gonna respond to seeing them again, because he thought they were. Oh, he doesn't have to worry about them. They'll be fine. And now suddenly, they're caught again. Also, they're being chased by that. Like, were they still being chased by the demon thing at the episode, or did they like get it to go away?
It looks like Ray shot that monster in one of its eyes, and then its face began to swell up. So
fragile.
So I don't know if it's still chasing them or if it collapsed or whatever, but they're running.
I feel like shooting something that has like 70 eyes in an eye is just a way of making it mad. right? Like that. Does that make sense? Like you can still see,
I don't know, but
right?
I mean, it seemed like it. It seemed like it wound up working out for in the kid's favor because again, like its
Yeah, they
entire
somehow
face began
found the
to swell.
self-destruct eye.
Or maybe the
Push here
eye.
to
Well, actually,
detonate.
now that I think about it, Sonju even said like if you run into any demons or wild demons, aim
Shoot them in the eye.
aim for the eye. Like if you can't run away, aim for the eye.
That makes sense. It's probably like the weakest location, but I can't imagine they're like magic self-destruct buttons. Just poke here to self-destruct. This organism is now going to self-destruct in 3, 2, 1. You're safe.
Speaking of the children running away, one cool thing I noticed is as the episode came to an end and we saw the children running away, the parts where it cuts to each individual child or to a pair, it paralleled the first scene from the first episode when the children were running away from that monster, and I thought that was cool how basically it was the same movement, same. It looked kind of like they, not that they reused the same exact animation because obviously they had new equipment in this scene because now they had bows and arrows.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was meant to parallel that one scene, which I thought was pretty cool.
I think that is interesting. I think that it's really nice that they're calling back to like older episodes with like visual cues.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to move on to like the big surprise at the end of the episode. Besides the fact that they were going to kill Elizabeth, which I thought was kind of weird.
Isabella.
Elizabeth. They were going to kill her. I wasn't expecting that.
The thing is, they didn't know what to do with her because, like, they kept her alive for over a month, and they said, like, the reason why they waited this long is because she was very valuable and very useful to them, so they weren't entirely sure if killing her off would be a good idea. Like, would that be wasteful or...
Yeah. I mean, I think they finally agreed on, like, we're going to kill her off because she failed us and we can't let that happen again. But I still think the fact that they plan on using her for, to capture the kids, that is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, because
how are the kids going to respond to seeing her out in the wild, chasing them, trying to get them back? Are any of the kids going to fall for it? I mean, these kids do know quite well what was going on.
Right.
But now she's out there. And she's very smart. Is she going to manipulate them? Is it going to be the ultimate face-off between Ray and his mother?
Oh my gosh. How do you think the children would react if they found out that Ray was Isabella's biological son?
Insert dramatic anime moment and music. It would be like like the shocked faces with like the lightning kind of broken background in anime with the no, it couldn't be. Oh my god, shocked face. I mean Emma.
Isabella?
No, sunshine hair, girl.
Emma?
Emma. I can't remember names, remember? Emma knows that. I think Emma knows that Ray is Elizabeth's child.
I don't think she does. I don't
probably
think
knows.
anybody knows. Like I don't think there was any indication that like the only
They know. Probably not
know,
actually.
like we found out when we saw Isabella's flashback in the final episode of season 1, so I don't
I
think the
feel like
children know.
I feel like
they know
it
that
would be
Ray worked for her, was basically acting
was a
as a
spy
double
for her.
agent. Yeah.
Or triple agent in one way or another. He I want, because like I'm imagining it would come out. I wonder who would say it. Would Emma or would
Isabella.
Elizabeth? Wow, Isabella. I know an Isabella too. How come I keep messing that up? Uh, Isabella. Or would Ray be the one to say it? Like, would what I'm imagining is that Isabella finally tricks some of the kids to go along with her, and then Ray uses it to like win them back. Like, yeah, I'm your own flesh and blood, your own child, and you were willing to ship me away too. Do you really think she offers you safety? Do you really think she has any intention other than to lead you to your death? She would have led me to my death just the same, and I am her own actual child.
That could work, actually.
Because I imagine that like the kids would not take that well. Not in the sense that like, Ray, how could you? But more like Isabella would have sold her own child, like flesh and blood.
Like
child.
the fact that she knew that Ray was her son.
Yeah, knew it from the beginning. Like I can't imagine that they would have that any remaining loyalty or feelings they would have for her would really stand well against that.
Right.
But I can also imagine her trying to use it to get Ray to come back to her. Like, yeah, you're my own child. This kind of plays into like the fact that the demon leaned over and whispered in her ear what the final promise was.
Yeah, because he promised her, he said,
something.
If you're able to get the kids back, we'll remove the number from your neck, we'll remove the device from your heart, we'll let you leave the farms, you'll be free, and we'll give you something else. Whisper, 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 and Isabella's reaction, like, whatever they offered her, that
what
seemed
do you think
to
it
be,
is?
like...
I think it's Ray.
Like, that was one of the thoughts I had. Like...
Because that is what I think she's going to try and get Ray with. If you come back with me, I've been promised that we can go free together. You don't need to fight anymore. We'll be free. Just you and me. Mother and son. And like, because Ray could probably manipulate. They trust Ray, so she's gonna. I feel like she's gonna go after Ray, and Ray's gonna become a double agent again. He's gonna have like almost a double agent again, or becomes a double agent again. Off of that. That is if I'm right about that. What were the other theories you had about what the whisper could have been? I'm sorry, I got really excited first.
In my notes, I wrote Leslie, Ray, something else. Like Leslie was Isabella's childhood crush, the guy who wrote the.
Oh, he's dead. He's absolutely dead. They're not reviving him.
It was just a thought. Like
I know, but like that guy's gotta be dead. Like this is years and years ago. He's definitely mincemeat by now. Like I'm pretty sure like the last of Leslie chops have been sold at the supermarket.
Interesting.
You looked really uncomfortable with that one. There's no more Leslie chops.
Interesting way of putting it, but I don't know.
Well,
that was a few of the things. Like that was just what I was thinking. Like either they offered her a person that she cares about, or they're offering her something else. But I can't imagine what else she could possibly want. I mean, I'm sure she did care about Ray, like, but
I mean, it's her own son,
right? But then that kind of makes you wonder, like what's more important to her? Like, is keeping Ray alive that important? Like, I don't know. Like,
I feel like if she was given the opportunity to run away with Ray and like live a happy life, just her and Ray, or happy quotation marks, a free life with Ray and herself, I feel like she would, like, instantly.
I suppose
Because like
so.
her
I,
whole thing is like there is no other option for you guys. Like you can run and try and run away, but you'll get caught or you'll die a miserable death, either starving to death or eaten by something violently. Here, at least you get to live 12 good years of your life, loved and cared for, and then, you get a quick death, and that's it. That's her logic is that that's better than the other one.
right. And I
So if
think
her
we.
logic is, oops, sorry, go ahead.
No, you finish your thought.
Oh, so if her logic is now, well, my own child, one who I probably have, like, who absolutely had some, like, special meaning to her. Otherwise, she probably wouldn't have made him been as willing to make him a double agent.
Yeah, like we've talked about this
Um,
before, like maybe part of the reason why when Ray said, I want to be your spy and in return I want some things, like one of his conditions was don't ship me out right away and I also
yeah,
want little prizes. Like we've talked about this before how she probably agreed to that because he is her
yeah,
son, so she'd be willing to. So of all the children there, he's the one that she's definitely going to want to keep around until the very, 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 very end. Like,
yeah. But she did. She kept him until like the absolute limit that they're allowed to keep children.
right.
Um, but like, what was I gonna say? So I can imagine that would be a very good incentive for her to like, oh, you keep Ray, and I also think it would be a very interesting play on the first season's double trickery where he was secretly working for the kids for the kids, and he was working for Isabella, but he was also secretly working for the kids. He was a double agent that way,
Yeah.
and in the second season he's a double agent the other way,
Hmm.
which is interesting. He'll be maybe a triple
That would
agent
be
this time.
that would be interesting, or it could be the ultimate test because in the
That
first
too.
episode, Ray said that he was never going to abandon his family again.
Hmm.
So I feel like if he was given that offer, like that would be the ultimate test. Like, is he going to stick to that promise?
Yeah, we're gonna get some real strong blood of the covenant is thicker than water of the womb sort of messaging here.
Mm.
Because this is his family. These are the people he has lived with. These are the people he has tried to survive with. These are the people he's trying to save. And sure, you're my mother, but you also wanted to kill me,
Yeah. Like, and
and
even
you were
like,
totally willing to do it.
and even when she thought Ray lit himself on fire, all she was thinking about was saving his brain, which
Yeah.
is the best part. Like, that's the other thing. Like, with also, like, again, like, I'm sure Isabella does love Ray, but
She loves
like I
herself
was,
more.
like, yeah, that's what I was trying to get at before. Like, yeah, like, does she love him
'Cause her-
enough? Like, that's the
Her
thing,
whole
and that's, I guess, why I was a little hesitant about, like, was that really what they were offering? Because I'm not quite sure what they were offering her that she would want more than her freedom.
I mean, you're already giving her freedom, and you're also giving her if her freedom is her main thing, because she's very self-interested. Like we saw that earlier, that the whole reason she went through this is so that she could live
Right.
originally, and then she also because she cared about the children. So her first interest is self-preservation, and then the survival of the children. So now they're fulfilling both of her like motivations. Her self-survival, I get to be free. I don't have to deal with it anymore. I can be free. I can be a normal human being in the human world, and I can forget all about this. Forget. I doubt you'd actually forget.
Right, but try
This
to
sounds
move past
traumatizing.
it. Yeah, try to
It's a
move
lot of
past
trauma.
it. Yeah, but no, I get what
And
you're
then
saying.
her second motivation, she wants to protect the kids.
Right.
What's to keep her from just fleeing? Well, because they're gonna remove the heart tracker. She could just flee. Well, she can't because now she also has Ray to think about. Because like, if she brings them back, she gets to keep Ray. And Ray's the most important one to her because it's her own flesh and blood.
Right.
So then you've fulfilled both her motivations. She doesn't, even if she does care about the kids, she thinks, oh, well, they'll get a quick death. I get my freedom and I get my son. I'm happy. My motivations have been fulfilled. I have no reason to help them other than to trick them to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Which she might try. She might try tricking them.
Like,
which I don't think they're going to take.
But this brings another idea, since Ray is the highest scoring male of the group that escaped, would the demons be willing to sacrifice him, though? Which adds to my, is that really what they were offering hesitation?
Maybe.
But also, it could be a lie. Like, maybe their plan is to kill her anyway, and they're just saying what they think she wants to hear. And then,
I'm going to be 100%. I think it's the second option. I don't think these demons are going to be like, yeah, you can actually go free. We're going to remove the tattoo and remove the thing out of your heart. No, they're not.
And we're going to let you keep your son.
Yeah, no. I think that the keep your son thing is the added, yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's not happening anytime soon.
Their plan is probably, if Ray is the other thing they offered her, their plan is probably, for when she comes back with the kids, their plan is probably to kill her and to kill Ray, so...
What if they offered her Emma? Because Emma was the one she wanted to offer the sistership to.
Yeah, that's true, because... and I mentioned this when Russ and I created our Season 1 discussion video, how I'm pretty sure the reason why Isabella offered to help Emma become a mom or a sister was because she saw a lot of herself in Emma. Like, when we saw those flashbacks of Isabella, she was a very happy, energetic girl, just like Emma. So I think, and Emma lost Norman, this boy that I think it's safe to say that Emma
she cared a lot about.
Yeah. And something similar happened to Isabella, how she lost Leslie, her childhood crush. So I think she really relates to Emma and wanted to help her out that way.
Actually, you mentioned something I think it's really interesting. I think Emma and Isabella, besides having similar names in some way, because Emma makes me think of Elizabeth, and Elizabeth makes me think of Isabella, like in that way, which is probably why I keep saying Elizabeth instead of Isabella. Now I'm going to start saying Isabella when I mean Elizabeth. That's what's going to happen, I promise. What was I saying? You studied literature. I didn't. So there's like a term for like characters who are similar, but they go in different directions. Like they have the same, and they're the same character, but they're kind of the same character, but they're made the same. They were in the same situation, but one went one direction, the other went the other.
Right. I don't know what the phrase is for that, but yeah, I agree that that's definitely the situation with Isabella and Emma. Like when Isabella saw the cliff,
Dark Mentor, maybe. Sorry.
Like when young Isabella saw that there was a cliff on the other side of the wall, she accepted that, okay, escaping is impossible, so I'm just gonna go with the process and try to live the only way I can. Where Emma refused to give up, and Isabella kept saying, just accept your fates, give up, you'll feel better that way, and Emma refused to give up, so... Like, Emma is exactly what Isabella wasn't.
I think Emma is the only character that has actually made Isabella angry. Like, the only character that we know about that has made her angry. Because she just seems to have accepted reality and is dealing with it and isn't angry. But Emma is exactly like her, but is so bent on doing the exact opposite and so unyielding in her optimism that I think it angers her because it kind of shows negatively on her, and she realizes that.
Mm.
Because like when she broke her leg, she, for at least for a second, to me, seemed really angry at Emma. Not like, why won't you just give up? Just give up already. Sort of thing. Even if she immediately went back for just a split second, I think she might have been angry at her.
Potentially.
Just because just because it's like, because one, she cares about Emma, but second, because, and she doesn't want her to suffer, and she thinks that Emma is choosing suffering, but also because, have you ever had that, been in like a situation where you've done something bad, or you don't feel like you've lived up to something, and then someone else does something good, or like shows to be better, and then you get mad about it? You don't get mad, but you feel like you get like a quick sense of a little bit of anger because they're showing, because compared to you, you seem really bad. I think there's a term for it in like that, like people talk about. Like people will do this a lot with like vegetarians or vegans, because like vegetarians or vegans will be like, in their they've done a hard thing to go along with their own moral beliefs, and then people will get angry not because they necessarily disagree with the vegetarian or vegan, but because
because you can do what I can't, what I can never do.
Yeah, basically that's what I'm trying to say. Is that I think that might be like a small source of anger, and maybe something that might be a small seed of anger that might be played with as the season continues and Isabella and Emma meet again and interact.
Potentially.
I don't know. Now I'm just trying to get way too far into people's heads. And the heads of fictional characters is even worse.
No. I think we've made some good points. So...
I'm just like preempting if I'm completely wrong that I like.
So we talked about. So we talked about the beginning of the episode, the ending of the episode. Let's talk about the middle. Let's talk about the middle. So
they had a really cute montage. I love that montage. It's cute. Yeah. They're like, oh,
of them living in the shelter, like continuing to practice their bow and arrow skills, and we also saw them like when Emma, Ray, and Dawn and Gilda went hunting with the bow and arrow, like we saw Emma praying over the bird, and we saw a couple of the kids running through the tunnel and discovering, oh, there's a second exit, which comes in handy later on when they're trying to escape.
Well, almost came in handy. Someone did pop up in front of them.
Yeah.
They then threw into a cave.
And we learned that they did end up doing guard duty. We saw Dawn and Small-Face Boy in the surveillance room, and we found out what Small-Face Boy's name is.
Sal, let us know.
It was Rossi, something like that.
I think it was Rossi. It's probably Ross, but like just said weirdly because the kids say it weirdly. It's probably a nickname, and his real name is like Ross, or like, what's the long form of Ross? Rothschild. His first name is Rothschild.
But yeah, we saw that they would do guard duty together, and we saw that Dawn was not a very good guard because he kept falling asleep, and at one point Rossi tried to pull a prank on him by going, Dawn, Gilda's here! No, I'm awake! I'm kidding, she's not here.
Sounds like Gilda keeps a good eye on Dawn. Gilda is to Dawn as Emma is to Ray.
Well, somebody's gotta keep the boys in check.
That's true. And Dawn is falling asleep. On duty.
Yeah.
I also like when they catch like the weird fish snail things.
Yeah.
Piano Boy, he just kind of like freaks out because he drew the short straw. I don't know. It said something on it too, and I forget what it said.
It said "good luck" because
Oh yeah.
So they went hunting for new meat because everybody was
Yeah.
getting tired of eating birds all the time because that's the only thing Emma and the others would bring home for meat. So they try hunting. So they get the little slimy fish out of water, which Lonnie and Thoma named the gooeyes because they were slimy. And
Makes sense.
after catching them, they realized, wait, are these safe to eat? Somebody needs to taste test this. So basically,
Time to
that's
draw
what the
straws.
thing is, drawing straws. And Nat, the piano boy, got picked, and he was like, no, 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 I don't want to try them.
No,
I don't want to
help
try them.
me! No, I don't do it. I
So-
won't do it. No.
So Ray, Lonnie, and Toma wound up tasting it, and it was safe to eat and actually really good.
They waited like an hour after they tasted them. The food got like cold in that time before they ate it.
Right.
They were eating cold fish snails, or slugs. It'd be slugs would be more accurate. They didn't have shells.
Right.
Though the way they cooked it did look good.
Right. So,
I just thought that was funny to see like him like freak out. Like, no, I'm not gonna do it. Those are gross. They're slimy. No, I won't do it. And Ray's just like, all right,
And he-
fine, I'll do it. And I'm like, Ray, you
And-
better not die.
it's like Ray's like, I gotta be the mature one here. And
He is the oldest.
yeah, and Toma and Lonnie, because they're adventurous wackadoodles, so they of course want to try it.
Yeah. They're adventures. It turned out to be really good, apparently.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder, can we get a gummy? Want to try one. I'm adventurous enough.
So here's something about the episode that's really really minor, but it annoys me. So during the montage of the children living in the house, you know, hunting, practicing their bow and arrow, playing in the tunnel, setting up the guarding, all that jazz, we see Anna constantly pull out a journal and basically write down the date. And she wrote down the wrong year twice. The year is supposed to be 2046, but she keeps writing 2047. And I don't understand because the majority of season 1 takes place in 2045, and then they escape on Ray's 12th birthday in January 2046. And Sonju even confirms that the year is 2046. So why is she writing 2047 in her journal? Like, either the writers, animators made a mistake, or there was a 1-year time jump at some point, and that doesn't make any sense because the children were with Sonju and Mujika for less than a week, and we know that they were only at the shelter for a month. And even if we wanted to say, oh, well, they could have been at the shelter for a whole year, but that doesn't make sense because the plants that they planted in the garden, there isn't that much because they were recently planted, so there's basically nothing in the garden. And also, Ray and Emma still have the bandages on their ears. So if a year passed at some point, I'm pretty sure they would have ditched the bandages. So
Nah, they got like permanent ear damage. They got to keep it on there. Oh. Okay, so I'm gonna have 3 theories: one comical, one likely, and the other just conspiratorial.
okay, let's hear it.
Okay, the comical one: the kid's just an idiot and thought the wrong year. Just forgot what year it was. Like, it's sometime in the 2040s. It's like, 2047. That sounds like a nice year. Second option, which is the likely one. Actually, I'm going to say there's 4 options, and the 4th options can be like some like crazy thing. Second option, which I think it is, the anime's just messed up. They put the wrong year. You know, they were
Twice.
tired. Twice. Yeah, they were tired. They probably reused some of the scene and just misread the paper, or were like forgot and just put the wrong number in. They just forgot. Because the writers and the animators are like two different teams. There's probably like a small miscommunication. It's probably just one of those. If you pay attention, you'll notice here that something goes wrong.
Mm.
The third theory is the theory that well, yeah, there has actually been a year, and that like they just didn't mention that it's been a whole year since that they've been in the bunker for a year and a month, basically. I just didn't mention it. Because I don't think it's likely, but it would have been pretty funny if like they just forgot to mention that it's been an extra year, and that it took them an extra year to find the bunker. This team has been out there scouring the wastelands for them for an extra year, and they just figured out how to garden and all that. The Minerva message was actually 6 months long. No, that's a joke. And the final one, which might very well be, they might have actually had it originally, because sometimes on the cutting floor they'll like change the story. It could have been that when they went into animation, they were planning on having them be there in for a year, and they just recycled animation. Old animation from the first cut where they're originally going to be there for an extra year, and then they were like, "No, we'll take it down to a month, and then we'll make more sense." And then they just used some of the old animation. Because I actually don't know if there was like a manga there was a manga this is originally based on, wasn't there?
Yeah, manga.
Okay, because it could have been one of the. Because I don't know how faithful it is because I've never read the manga.
True.
So maybe in the manga they were there for like a year and a month, and they originally were going to go with that, but then they decided to like shorten it for like some reason in the anime. Because sometimes things like that will happen, like little inconsistencies between the anime and the show.
Potentially. But
I don't know.
It still feels strange because the way the montage is, it's like we see Anna writing in her journal at the start of a new day, and it seemed like, and the date too, like you could tell it was only a couple days after, because they arrived at the shelter on the 20th, and the first date she wrote down in her journal was January 22nd, 2047.
Okay, then it's probably an animation error. They just screwed up. They were like, "What year is it again?" Oh, it must be 47. And then they just didn't redo it because that's expensive, or just didn't notice it. And then they're gonna get an email from you that like, "Hey, you screwed up here," and they're like, "Oh God, I screwed up! Fire him!"
But yeah. So that's probably my only criticism about this episode, that little... I mean, it's minor considering, but, it's a little... it just irked me a little bit, but it's relatively a relatively minor mistake, all things considered.
Nah, it's okay to be bothered by that. That could absolutely throw you off if you're like, wait a minute, why is it 47 and not 46? And did they do a time jump? What? Maybe they were just wandering in the forest for longer. They just were wandering in the forest forever, for a year. And before the first episode started, they were just there for an extra year. I don't know. Now I'm just trying to find the funniest place to throw a year in. that chess game that
Ray and Sanji?
I almost said Light. Ray and Sanji played. It was like a year-long, intense battle of the minds. It took them a year to finish.
Well, Sonju did say Ray would make a good warrior.
That's true. The bird died over the course of a year. Emma's first hunt was actually a year long. Well,
we know that's definitely not the case because...
I know. I'm just coming up with the wildest, like, just throw a year in here and a year in there.
But yeah.
The last episode, the time after they got in the bunker, that whole span was a year. That's how large the bunker actually is. I'm joking. Now I'm getting repetitive and boring, aren't I?
So, I'm looking at my notes and checking to make sure that I covered everything. So, we talked about William and his message and how he is probably not around anymore because he got found out.
Yeah.
We talked
probably...
about Anna writing the wrong date in the journal. We talked about the shelter getting ambushed. We talked a lot about Isabella. We talked about Small Face Boy.
Best boy, small face boy.
Yeah, I think I talked about everything I wanted to talk about. How about you?
I got everything I wanted to talk about. I really wanted to talk about like Isabella's motivation and like what the secret might be. So I'm pretty content with all that. I'm excited to see how they're going to survive now that they've lost their shelter.
I'm sure
And what their
they'll
next step is.
reunite with Sonju and Mujika.
Probably, but they're probably gonna have to try and find them first.
True. Well, I'm sure they know where at least one of the entrances to Sonju's tunnels are. So they could probably try to search for the tunnels.
Yeah, as long as they don't get lost in there. That could end badly.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see next week.
Okay.
Wednesday.
Final thoughts before we wrap up?
If you've made it this far and you've not watched the episode, please go watch the episode. Don't know why you listened to this far at that point. Also, please like, comment, and subscribe. And comment. Please comment. We'd love to hear your opinions. You can call me an idiot if you like.
No. No, you actually had a lot of good points.
Nah. All right. So please like, comment, and subscribe. We look forward to hearing from you, and have a wonderful evening.
Don't be afraid
Or
to...
morning, or... Sorry, go ahead. we do this very scripted and are entirely practiced on this. We didn't just pick up microphones and say, yeah, let's just record.
Don't be afraid
Sorry.
to like
Go
and
ahead,
subscribe. Don't...
I'm sorry, I'll shut off my mic now.
No, you're fine. Don't be afraid to like and subscribe. Check out our other videos. If you haven't already, be sure to share this video, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Bye!
See you again sometime soon. Goodbye, and have a wonderful time.